Well, shout out to all the graduates this weekend, man. I literally just left a dinner of one of my cousin-in-laws, if that's a thing. Cousin-in-law, she graduated from UAB. It's a big college in
Congratulations.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, for sure, man. But all the graduates this weekend, that's something special for Mother's Day, I guess, if they set it up like that. You know? To graduate from school where y'all mom sent y'all, man. So shout out to that. But boy, I started to think, back in college, I don't know. I don't know if I want to hit on that because I feel a certain way. I got 2 degrees, by the way. I got my master's and all that. But I promise you, I feel like college, like Twan, basically is probably on the same way, but college ain't for everybody, man. It's one of them things, man, when you kind of know your potential and you understand how this world actually works, it's a whole different ball game. It's a new perspective. Nothing wrong with college. Like I said, I got 2 degrees, but I wouldn't have, as much perspective on it if I didn't actually do the college twice. You know what I mean? So I'm not blowing smoke. So me and Twan definitely have different sides of the spectrum that we can talk about, but we were in college together. He was telling me, like, man, I ain't feeling it.
You know what's funny, though?
Why not? But now that I'm in the real world and I see how actual money is made, like real money, you know what I mean? So anyway.
You know what's funny?
Shout out to all the graduates, bro.
What's funny about what you just said,
cousin,
bro? Yeah, congrats to your cousin.
Yeah.
Congrats to your cousin. But you know what's funny about what you just said? And I just had this conversation with my dad earlier, bro. How, so my dad just figured out, like the trust funds where you can pay money like a month and then at a certain age or in a certain amount of years, you can cash that money out type of deal.
Yeah.
Right. So my dad just, I guess, figured out about a new one or something like that, right? So he got one that I was just talking about where it's like $100 a month, and then for me in like 10 years I can take out like 25,000 or something like that, right? And so I was telling him, like, once I have my kids, I'm putting my kids on it as soon as they born or whatever. Because my whole thought on college is like, when my child is 18 and they graduate high school, if they don't have a athletic scholarship or academic scholarship, then it's like, if you don't want to go to college, you're going to have this money that we can take out, but you're going to have to explain to me what you want to do with it. You see what I'm saying? Because for me personally, y'all know I only went to college because it was mandatory to go, because I was trying to go to the league. If I didn't have to go to college to try to go to the league, I probably wouldn't even went, to be honest with y'all.
Yeah.
Because it's just like anything that I've learned in the real world so far, bro, college ain't teaching me none of that shit. Like, it didn't. Pythagorean theorem, I ain't touched it, bro. I ain't touched it, bro. The criminal justice, because that was my major. The first thing I learned in criminal justice was Brown versus the Board of Education. Nigga, we learned that in 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? So, and then if you don't have an academic or athletic scholarship, you basically starting life after college on the wrong foot. Let's say you are a person that don't have a scholarship, school is not paid for, and you got to come out of pocket for school expenses. And once you done, you 50, 60, 70, $80,000 in debt. Yep. And what field can you really go into where you gonna make that money right off the back? And even if you 50,000 in debt and your first job is 50,000 a year, you're not gonna take off 50,000 and pay your debt off, because you still gotta live, you gotta have bills, you gotta get food, you gotta do all of that. So you starting the foot off fresh out of college the wrong way already. And now, like you said,
let me ask y'all a question. So I know you said when you being a criminal justice major, you learned Brown versus Board of Education, which you learned in 8th grade. Do you feel like the curriculum at HBCUs, as far as education, is the same structure as other universities? Do you feel like they stress education in a sense that they would do as such you were at like a major university, like an Ivy League school or a Duke or North Carolina or anywhere like that? You know what I'm saying? Just a main university.
I think so. I think so, because when you look at it and it's like.
And by the way, so everybody knows, by the way, we all went to HBCUs. Me, you know what I'm saying? Me, Gene, Twan, Bobby, we all went to school together. I didn't graduate from the HBCU that I went to. I transferred out and went to another university and graduated and finished there. and you know everybody got their own thing. Gene and Bobby graduated. Twan, you know, did our thing or whatever like that. But we all was there.
Go ahead.
Like you said, you know, school ain't for everyone. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I just wanted to touch on that and figure out what was y'all standpoint on, because I know you, Gene, you say you got your master's. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel the curriculum and education?
Do you got your master's from state or you got your master's from
a PWI? So
okay.
Undergrad was HBCU. Master's was from a PWI. My short answer is no. I don't think it's necessarily behind. It just depends on your major, right? I was mathematics, and then I went with business administration with a focus in finance. Like, you can't be behind in that. You know what I'm saying? There are schools, colleges, high schools, whatever, that are 10 years behind on their books and curriculum that they're provided because of their areas, because of their counties and how they're funded. So I'm not ruling it out that that's a possibility, but I would say in my experience, I haven't gone to every PWI, I haven't gone to every HBCU, but from what I learned at Alabama State versus what I learned at UNA, so University of North Alabama, I didn't see a gap, in my opinion. Now, what I will say, Bobby, is what we may have learned in high school or middle school, college is about concepts and theory, whereas when you learn in, you know, middle school, high school is more about like, hey, this happened.
Right.
Attach it to your memory. This is what happened. These were the results. Just making you aware. Where college is like, all right, let's actually study that case. Brown versus Board of Education. Let's get your thoughts on it. You know, tell me, you know, how you feel about that, what you would have done different. Why are we here today because of that, right? It's just more thought process behind some of the stuff we already know, especially in classes like that. But when it came to the other classes that I took outside of my major, when it came to, you know, geography or music appreciation even, it sounds funny, but still that stuff was very relevant at Alabama State. So I wouldn't say that Memphis, but y'all may have had relatives or something like that that went to PWI that may say something different, but I got to tell you, my sister went, I'm not going to name the school. My sister went to a big school, you know what I mean? A PWI. And in my opinion, I learned a lot more, not just out of a book, but a lot more about how life works at Alabama State versus where she went. Like, I was more prepared for the job market. I was more prepared for life because of how I apply myself, number one. But the things that you're innately taught at Alabama State, not every HBCU, but from what I hear, it's like, it's not a handout type, you know what I mean, type deal. Like, if you want to learn, you want to get ahead, you got to go get it. And that's life. So I will say there's an advantage and disadvantage to everything we talk about. But as far as the curriculum, or like what we learned, I wouldn't say it was behind.
I feel like, and I respect that. I feel like at Alabama State, like you said, and it's at any HBCU, I recommend that, you know, if you Black, whatever the color, you Mexican, whatever the case may be, minority or whatever, I suggest, you know, you go to HBCU. You know what I'm saying? And you're starting to see like a lot of athletes now, they starting to, you know, lean towards going to HBCUs. I keep saying, I don't know why I said Percy Miller. Master P's son just committed to TSU down here. He's gonna be a freshman. He was the top recruit in the nation. And
what you call it? Thon Maker brother committed to Howard. I think it's Thon Maker brother committed to Howard.
Mm-hmm. So you starting to see the turn. And then what's his name? Shaq's
Did Mikey commit yet?
I don't think Mikey committed, but Shaq's son, the youngest one.
Oh yeah, he going to Texas Southern.
He going to Texas Southern. So you're starting to see like the, you know, the ball kind of turn to where, you know, it's kind of like a domino effect. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of shine more light on.
But you know what? You know what you said though. You know one thing that with the schools that we just named, right? Just think about the schools that we just named: Howard, Texas Southern, and Tennessee State, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know too much about Tennessee State, but from being at Texas Southern a lot and knowing a little bit about Howard, their facilities are like almost up there with the PWI facilities. Now, if we talking specific trainers and nutritionists and all of that stuff, I don't know how in depth that category of the school is, but as far as just facility wise and let's say location wise, Texas Southern is in the heart of Houston. You know what I'm saying? We done been to Houston, played Texas Southern, Prairie View a lot, so we know where we stay at. We know how Houston looks when you at Texas Southern, and you got Howard, which is in a pretty. I mean, of course, most HBCUs is in the hood, but it's still a decent location at the same time. Some of these other HBCUs may lose out because of, you know what I'm saying, lack of facility.
I'm gonna be real with y'all. And this from I'm gonna let you get right to it, Twan. From TSU is right in the heart, like it's in the hood of Nashville. It's in the hood, you know what I'm saying? So just to keep it real, I feel like facility wise, y'all know how it was when we first got to state. Like it looks completely different from the way it looks now. I feel like as the generation turns, as you know, the more students start coming in, as the more talent starts coming in, the money, those boosters, everything like that money is gonna come in. If people think for a second, oh, my son, you know, like Master P, oh, you know, my son's gonna come here. What can y'all do for my son? He need this, he need that, he need this, and then this. Even if he got to put his own bag behind it, they gonna put bread behind that school, and they gonna make sure, oh, they got the best facilities. They gonna make sure that they get new jerseys. They gonna be sponsored by. They might be sponsored by his shoe company because Master P does have a shoe company. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, I mean, right now they sponsored by Nike, but I feel like as the talent rolls in, as the buzz start building up, as ESPN wants to, you know, come and broadcast these players and these student athletes, that money is gonna roll in, and they're gonna have to change the times per se, and just, you know, really modernize the school. You can't, you know, it's just like Alabama State. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have a football stadium when we first got there. You know what I'm saying? Right. They built a whole.
Now they got $1 million facility.
They got all that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like just that time. You had a couple players go to the NFL and, you know, get NFL tryouts and get drafted and stuff like that. So it's like that. Just that pattern of just like, hey, we gotta, you know, we know how it used to be back in the day, but we gotta crank things up a little bit, and we gotta make our players feel comfortable too, because we don't want to make them feel like they unappreciated. Because what's gonna happen? They're gonna leave. They're gonna transfer out. You feel me? So it just, you
know. As far as my perspective, y'all let me know if I get off topic. Like Gene said, everything has its advantages and disadvantages, and that comes with school as well. And I think it's far beyond just college. I think that the school system has a lot of gray areas and cracks in it. And that doesn't mean that there aren't good people that's in the school system. You know, it's some good teachers here and some good people in these programs that's lacing these kids. You know what I'm saying? You do have your good people. But as far as the curriculum and what we go to school for, and realistically, school, as far as even starting from grade school, is really just a program to keep people out of the streets. I'm not even talking about Black people, just people in general. You have to have some type of structure. You know what I'm saying? That's with anything in life. So the reason I say that is because unless, you know, especially in grade school, when you think about some of the things that we learn in elementary school, middle school, up to high school, you know, the subjects just kind of evolved into the same thing. But like Bob said, a lot of that stuff didn't stick with us until our adulthood, right? When we should probably be learning about, you know, our credit and stocks and, you know what I'm saying, things that
interest rates, taxes,
you know, things that in our adult life, you know, unless you have parents that lace you with that. And unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, some of our parents, even if, you know, they didn't do it, it wasn't because, I just feel like they were kind of, it's been traditionalized over time to where, you know, we've been raised a certain way. Hell, we got parents that'll be like, you get a 4.0, I'll give you some J's, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is that may be. And like I said, man, I'm not talking down on the school system, because like, I think there are some advantages in the school system. And I think now, especially like where I am in my mindset, like if I was financially where I wanted to be, I would homeschool my children just off the strength of, you know, I know what they will be going to school. I mean, what they will be learning every day, things that will help them in life. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that when you go to school and you have 6 different periods, or even in grade school, you know, even the things that we learn, even if it's not something that's going to stick with us, it sharpens our mind. You know what I'm saying? It's still a workout for our brain at the end of the day. So, you know, I do think that you need structure, but I think the school system needs some type of restructure. You understand what I'm saying? There should be different subjects, the things that we learn about in history, are not always true. You know what I'm saying? Some, even in hell, you was a math major, you know what I'm saying? Do you use, and correct me if I'm wrong, everything that you learn? Okay,
but
so that's what I mean. And right, I know, right. But I just mean in real life, in your adult life, right? And like I said, it's not for everyone. And but that doesn't mean that you should not have some type of structure, whether it's at home or, you know what I'm saying, going to regular school. So as far as college is concerned, like Bob said, unless you're financially stable, and hell, people can just pay for you to go to school, or you have some type of athletic scholarship or academic scholarship, then you are going to leave school in debt, right? So I think that shit, man, you need to be, it starts at home, like we talked about on, I can't remember what episode it is. That's what anything, it starts at home, about lacing your kids. Understand what it is, even if you don't necessarily know exactly what it is you want to do. When you go to school, you should really know what it is that you want to do, because you'll waste your time in these different majors. And to me, bro, the reason I say that is because, I took psychology, right? And this is just me. And obviously I didn't finish school. My mind was in a lot of different places, but I knew that it wasn't for me at that time. I was there, and there's things from school that I gained that, bro, I would never ever want to get back. And that's one of that is y'all, not to be all sappy and shit, but like, going to HBCU, like Memphis said, it does put you at an advantage because you see people that look just like you know what I'm saying, every single day. And I think, like I said, for me, you know what I'm saying, if my kids decide that they want to go to college, then I want to be able to do everything that I can to prepare them, because even if you don't necessarily know what it is that you want to do, I feel like you should have some type of direction. You understand what I'm saying? And I felt like I went to school with no direction, if that makes sense. It was more so like, I'm here. Do I really want to be here? You know what I'm saying? So I think that, like I said, it can be restructured. I do think that going to HBCU is an advantage if you're a part of our community, and especially like for athletes now, man. I feel like, shoot, all the hoopers, man, especially Black athletes should be going to HBCUs, bro. Like, at the end of the day, why not? Why not, man?
Hold on, Jim. Before you go, I'm gonna let you go. I just want to ask Twan one question. Have you researched like homeschool?
Not too much. But I was talking to my pops about it, and he thinking about doing it with his kids this year, right?
So when you in homeschool though, how does that? I've never understood how like homeschooling your kid can put into like their GPA and stuff. Like if you homeschool your kid, like how is all this paperwork and stuff being?
They still get tested,
right? I think they still get the state test, right? But I think that, and I do still think that there's obligations that they have to fulfill as far as the subjects that they're learning in regular school. But the advantage to me is, if you are financially stable, and hell, you don't even have to be your parents. At least if you know the teacher, they can be giving them game on the things that we had to learn when we was 21 years old, the hard way. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I feel like we should have, like our what's the damn electives and shit in high school and college should be, or in high school and middle school should be, stocks or whatever it is that you I can't even remember what my electives was, bro, but that's the point.
I had to take a volleyball elective to graduate from state.
But that's what I mean. Like, some of those credits, bro, it's like, why?
Pointless.
Why?
Imagine that, $3,200 for a volleyball class.
We don't even have to go into the school structure and all that stuff. To me, there's just so much in the foundation of what you want out of life versus what you want to do. Because we approach it so backwards, bro. Like, asking an 18-year-old what they want to do for the rest of their life is not fair at all.
Right.
And people get upset when they don't know. It's like, how can you do that? Ask a person how they want to live, how they want their lifestyle to be, and then provide options in that. Show them what that looks like. There's people you can research. There's videos and lessons to be learned in that arena, or those arenas rather,
right,
where kids can kind of see what's going on instead of, well, I'll be a doctor since that sounds important.
Right.
And make a lot of money. Like, that's not cool.
Right.
But I ain't gonna go into all that. But what I will say is you cannot simulate, and I got my leg up while I'm saying this, you cannot simulate Black culture, man, like the HBCU culture. But the point is, man, like being around that, like it's a level of comfort that I hadn't had since I was 9 years old. Because up until 9 years old, I never met a white kid my age that I could talk to. Like I only knew white adults from my teachers because I grew up in an all black hood, all black school, everything. And so when I moved, I mean, it was a huge culture shock. That's when I met my wife. Obviously, we didn't get married at 9, but you get what I'm saying. But I will say that's a huge advantage is like being around your people and being comfortable. Not just like on some hood stuff or anything like that. It's not like that at all. You all in a place, you're in a domain where everybody's trying to get something out of this system.
Right.
And so you do the stress-free stuff to get your mind off of it, and then you do your thing and go to class, unless you're Bobby Brown. You feel me? I'm messing with you.
Wow.
Bobby didn't go to class for like 2 years, bro.
The homie.
Hey man, I just want to touch on this and say, hey man, because I ain't got to hold no filter back or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I did transfer out.
Yeah.
Hey, but look, man, coaches were some suckers. I'm gonna say that right now, and I don't care. I don't care at all. Hey, look, much respect to them brothers, but hey, y'all some suckers.
Shout out Coach Stevens, man. That's my guy.
Shout out Coach Stevens.
Yes, sir.
Make sure the N and the S is on that.
Hey, Bobby, you shut up. Are you muted right now, Bob?
Hey,
well,
man,
he a mine, man.
I was about to say my shit went out too.
Damn, I ain't know my shit was muted. That's on me. But look, fuck Coach Stevens, okay?
Hey.
Fuck Coach Stevens. Coach Sewell, that's my dog. Like, nah.
What about
fuck all that.
And who else? What up?
Coach Curry. Even though me and him got into it, I fuck with Coach Curry. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Coach Curry.
You said Derek Fisher,
bro.
Man,
nah.
No. Real quick though. When I graduated, I swear to God, I walked across stage. I think we had Steve Harvey at my graduation. Shook Steve Harvey hand. Shook somebody else's hand. Lou Jack met me soon as I walked off the stage, bro. Man, nigga shook my hand. He said, son, you the only motherfucker to never take a book bag to class and graduate. Congratulations. I said, yeah, it's cool. I don't do it. I can't do it.
This was 30 minutes ago. But don't you feel like, because I agree with you, bro, as far as, you can't, it's a lot of pressure as, asking the kid at 18, because you were a kid at 18, maybe classified as an adult, but you were a kid. Mm-hmm. What they want to do the rest, with the rest of their life. It's a lot of pressure to ask that. And I want to make it clear that that's not what I was, I guess, trying to say. What I'm saying is, and you tell me if I'm wrong, because you have kids now, and they're young, but even us, think about all of our experiences growing up, right? If there were things, even if it's not something that we knew that we wanted to do for the rest of our lives, but that we were good at, right? Maybe it could, and it can have, this doesn't have anything to do with school, but there were things I feel like throughout all of our childhoods that maybe probably should have had a little bit more attention. You understand what I'm saying? And it's tough to say, when, all of our parents, a lot of our parents, coming from where we come from, they working overtime or doing it, whatever it is they got to do to keep the lights on. But you know what I'm saying? I think now that I have children, I'm going to try my best to recognize the small things that they like, whatever it is, whatever that may be, and push it. And I'm not saying give all the energy to it, but more so just try to sharpen the skills in those areas that I feel like they like, the things that they like. And it comes with not even necessarily no effort, but just it brings them joy. You understand what I'm saying? Because I feel like throughout your childhood and up until you're an adult, if you do as a parent sharpen those things, and it can prepare you to kind of put yourself in the position to be like, I am good at this or that, instead of being like, what is it that you want to do? And now you're stuck on this until you're 28, 30, 35 years old. You understand what I'm saying? I don't believe in that pressure. Like I agree with you, rather, is what I'm saying. But I do think that we can do a better job at sharpening skills up until we do get to college, so we can kind of have at least some idea. No,
I don't think kids know that unless they like. I think the only kids that know at 18 what they want to do is probably the kids who want to go like professional and like baseball, football, NBA, or some shit like that. Like outside of that, like the regular average kid is not gonna know what they want to do for the rest of their life.
But you know why?
There's so many things that you can do.
At the end of the day, it's about exposure, bro.
Mm-hmm.
How do they know what they want if they ain't never seen it? It's about exposure to me. Like that's what all I'm saying. It's a lot more to visit, but I don't want to really, talk about that all night. But I did want to talk
about to say
Kevin Samuels. Is it Kevin?
Kevin Samuels. That nigga might be the funniest nigga on TikTok right now.
Well, I know you finna read off some quotes, man.
Man, listen.
Because it started about a little over a year ago when he started getting popular, where his videos started coming out. But
I say a couple months.
Initially, I didn't even think it was real. Like, the fact that people log on just to get cussed out is hilarious to me. But it works. It's entertainment. But I started to realize dude was like dead serious. And when I started actually listening and not laughing so much, hey, some of it was making sense. So
some of it makes sense.
The quotes off, bro.
All right, so basically some of the quotes that he said, because we just want to he say a lot of shit. So we're just going to touch on some of the more formidable and I guess highly opinionated topics. So the first one, it would be like, why would a high value man get married? And unfortunately, we can't play the video right now. So basically what he said in the statement was a high value man, aka you can either, depending on what you consider high value, that man can be 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year, maybe a little above average, whatever the case may be. But a high value man to your standards, if he's not already married and he doesn't already have kids, he's basically, let's say, financially free on his account or whatever. What would be in it for the high value man to get married? What is it about marriage that will attract the high value man if he's not already married, hasn't already been married, and doesn't have kids? So for me, no Bosh, Gene, I would consider you a high value man. And you're married. So from a high value man standpoint, let's just, for the sake of the pod, Q, don't kill me. Let's just say you're single. High value man that's single, what would be your purpose to want to get married?
Dr. Umar was recently, Dr. Umar Johnson, for those of you who don't know. If you don't know him and you hop on the interview, he don't scare you. Because dude is a genius in a way where a lot of things can get lost in translation that he says if you're listening with the wrong ear. But when you actually think about where he's coming from, a lot of that stuff makes sense. And what he talked about is that marriage is an economic decision.
Yes.
Which in a lot of ways it can be at the basis of it. And, for people that's saying like, no, it's not. And why are prenups, a thing? Why do they exist? And then when people get divorced, why they want to split everything in half? Why is it economic then? So what I can say is, I hope I answer your question. I'm going to answer it in two ways, Bob. The reason I married my wife, no matter what she was bringing to the table, I'm a little old school, bro. You know what I mean? I'm a country boy. So the reason I married her is it had nothing to do with finances. As a matter of fact, I would even go to say that at the time, she wasn't bringing anything to the table financially, but I didn't care. Why? Because a high value man, in my opinion, like my wife's beautiful, that helps. But a high value man, in my opinion, needs a woman that actually believes in him. Not just the fluff, not just the gassing you up, but you know the difference, right? A woman that believes in you and is going to support
like caring, she's there, caring, inspirational, emotionally tapping you.
She trusts you to lead, because a lot of women don't have that quality, bro.
Right.
That will trust you to lead. Like I don't want to speak for Twan, but clearly that's their relationship. You feel me? Like I don't see any discrepancies there. And these things can be developed over time. But if I were a single guy, I'd be looking for my wife. I'm gonna just put that on the podcast. But anyway, if I was a single guy, and no matter what I'm making, multimillionaire a few years from now, whatever it's gonna be, I would be looking for that same thing. Because it's tough to ask me. I'm not the moral God or anything like that. But I didn't even grow up, like, my mom didn't have a job for 13 years. You feel me? I ate free lunch in school. We was eating food stamps, child support. That was our only income, brother. Like, so I grew up raised by women that didn't really have any income, any money at all. So I taught myself early on to just be the man that I need to be to provide, so that I'm not looking for my wife's end of the bargain, or whatever you want to say, because that's the reason my mom and dad got divorced. So it hit me on a deeper level that's completely personal. It's not generalized at all. It may not have to do with anybody watching this podcast, but literally my mom and dad didn't have the best relationship, but when she quit her job to raise her fourth kid, my little sister, within a year, they were pretty much divorced, because a lot of stuff personally that I won't talk about, but because of basically her quitting her job, I was just like, you know, as a kid, you don't understand these things, but I just told myself I will never put myself in a position where I gotta rely on my partner's finances to the point where it could cripple the marriage if she doesn't decide to bring in money, which I'm glad that I decided to do early on, because I can just love my wife who she is, not what she can bring financially to the table. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So as a single man, I would probably still be in that same mindset, to be honest with you.
And part of what you just explained, I don't want to touch on this portion of the Kevin Samuels, but what he called that was, in the video I watched, the girlfriend experience. And I'm gonna just say it I'm gonna say it in short. He was doing an interview with a lady, and he basically asked, you know, like, what would she bring to the table? And her statements on what she would bring to the table was consistent of being strong, independent, financially able to handle, you know, her lifestyle, this, that, and the third. And Kevin was basically like, well, you just described a man, basically. Yeah. You didn't describe, you know, a woman. You didn't say anything about being caring, loving, being able to emotionally tap your counterpart, you know, inspiring, inspirational, you know, comforting, things like that. You didn't really touch bases on the woman aspect of it. Everything you just said, you basically described a man, and a man's not looking for that. They're looking for the girlfriend experience.
You spot on, because one of the ones that went viral during COVID, like during last year, because it's still technically COVID.
Yeah.
One of the ladies, she hopped on that. He ripped her to shreds, but I'm gonna just highlight one part. Dude is savage, but it be truth in what he's saying. He was like,
definitely.
A high value man, a man that's really making money, he don't care how much you make.
He don't.
He said that. I just said it in a roundabout way. But when you think about that, it's so true. Like, this is like the most extreme example, but somebody like Drake, you think he care what a woman making?
Not at all.
Like, come on, man. Like, you know
not at all.
Somebody like Shaq or something like that, they don't care what a woman bringing to the table. Now, I can highlight Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, like they doing their thing as a couple, right? I'm not saying that one or the other cares about the financial side of it,
but they both got like it.
That you know started where they started, and they build from there together. So it's a lot of different ways to look at it, but in my opinion, bro, if you're a man, not a male, a man,
it don't matter.
It's I was gonna say, bro, I think it's mindset, bro. Is put it like this, not to take it here, but you know, I view, for me, marriage is something a lot more spiritual than it is paperwork and what people view it as. Even like Dr. Umar, you know, it's an economic commitment. I mean, what did you say? It's a economic commitment, right? Yeah. Okay. So for me, right, because there's some truth in what both of them are saying. Now, I'll be lying if I said Kevin Samuels didn't speak the truth a lot, but at the same time, it's mindset. So if you look at marriage as a spiritual thing first, and before the ring and before the wedding and before, you know, everything else after that comes with it, then I think your view on it will be different, because you will appreciate the building process and being equally yoked and understanding your woman and vice versa. So, you know, you would be able to take out the financially stable man, or the, what term did he use? High value man. And when you look at it this way, when you look at it spiritually, then you'll understand, you know, people hate this, you know, especially the world we live in today, but there are male and female roles. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And what I mean by that is not so much so what we live in today in America, but more so the spiritual act of it. Something as simple as, I was talking to my fiance about it, as You know what I'm saying? We could be the richest people in the world or the poorest people in the world. And at the end of the day, if we had a newborn baby, then you're automatically a natural nurturer. You know, you're able to feed that child from your breast. You understand what I'm saying? Testosterone and estrogen is a real thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you put it this way. So as a man, you should want to provide. You know what I'm saying? Now, at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, you have to understand we have these standards, I guess, what we in both genders or what we're looking for when we're single, or that we're high valued or trying to get ourselves together. But you have to understand what it is that you want spiritually first. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then understand what it is that you need to provide for that relationship. Because if you're looking at it from that perspective, it's already, to me, you already kind of starting off on the wrong foot. You understand what I'm saying? Because get yourself together first, understand whatever it is that you believe in. But as a man, bro, you already should want to, you should want to provide. You should want to be, you know, like you said, you shouldn't, not, you know, it's not about tricking or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? When you love your woman, you love your woman. And you understand too that the gender roles of it. It's the, you know, and that's not saying you, like you said, you have the situation where you got your Iman and Tiana, where they both doing their thing, they're a power couple. Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're a power couple. You understand what I'm saying? Where they have their own business indoors or whatever it is that they're doing. But you know, if we just speaking traditionally or whatever it is, you know, and even then in those relationships, I'm only looking, you know, I'm on the outside looking in. I'm pretty sure they're fluid because they understand man and female. You understand what I'm saying? And that it's not a place, but it's more so, I think, like I said, just it being more spiritual. Because don't you feel like you really connected, like not just from just knowing her from 9 years old, but you guys understand each other. Like you said, bro, she allows you to lead, right? So whatever that may be, that alone, bro, that is a role. She's allowing you to lead. You understand what I'm saying? And you're allowed to sit back and allow her to be the mother and your wife. You understand what I'm saying? So when you look at it from that perspective, and not so much so, you know, you obviously want to have standards when you have yourself together, right? You don't want to lower your standards or get in a situation where you're just taking care of somebody or you know, just because you want to be in love or have a partner or get married. But I think that we need to look at it from a different perspective, man. I see him doing a lot of, and that's not, like I said, he says a lot of truthful things, man. But I see him doing a lot of, I don't even necessarily want to use the term bashing, because I don't think he bashes, but it's like, I don't see a fluid conversation. I see more so him being like on a pedestal sometimes. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, he definitely is on a soapbox, so it's hard to watch it. But at the same time, it's a lot of truth in what he's saying.
It's a lot of truth.
I think he hops on ready to rip people apart. Like,
exactly.
That makes sense.
And I don't know, man. Like, I guess it's different point of views.
What I will say,
what you think, Myth?
I don't know. I feel like I say, I mean, it's some truth to what he's saying, but I do feel like, you know, he's manipulating the conversation to where it's one-sided in a sense, because he pretty much knows how, he can tell how when a female join his live, anytime they joining up on his live or whatever, when he on Instagram, he already know they coming to argue or they coming to try to like be the quote unquote hero for the female community. They trying to, you know, stand up to him and try to make him feel stupid. So he knows with that, when it's coming, he knows how to like close in the conversation and like catch them on. Because I'm gonna just be real, most of our women in our Black community, they're gonna have that little edge to them. They're gonna try to snap. They're gonna have it, no matter how calm they try to, you know, be or whatever, it's gonna happen. So he uses that, and he knows how to spin. He knows how to spin the conversation around. He knows how to push that button per se, to where it's like they can't hold it in no more. And you know, he had one girl come on there and she was like, "Oh, you know, I feel like, you know, you said so and so about women and this and that. And he was like, when did I say that? You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like she pretty much made that up, to where it's like she was trying to like catch him up or whatever, like that, or catch him in the loop. And like I said, he knows whenever they coming on his live, he know what time it is. He know like, hey, you're not coming here to hear me out. You're not coming to this and that. You came on my page to try to make me shut up and make me look stupid. So it's all.
Yeah,
it's
but
all
he
like,
bring that energy, bro. Like he bring that.
He bring the energy, which is what, you know what I'm saying, which like what people appreciate about him is his, you know, he's cool, he's laid back, he's like that slide calm, like, but I'm gonna still get smart with you and I'm gonna put you in a place.
Let me tell you something. I'll be asking Q, like, who hurt this man? Because to me, he come off like, I'm trying to keep it on the message, but to me, he come off as somebody who probably got dissed a couple of times early on in life and then became who he was and was like, nah, F all y'all, basically, because he really got that energy like, nah, I hate y'all because of what I went through type stuff. Whereas a man who got love all his life ain't finna talk to nobody like that. But at the same time, he's saying what folks be thinking. Like,
facts.
He's saying what folks be thinking, because when he was talking about, like Bobby was talking about, why is it that, you know what I'm saying, men, why is it that women can say what they want and don't want in a man, no matter how
he was like, why is it, he said, why is it that women can voice their opinion about what they want and it's cool, but when a man does it, we disrespectful or something of that nature. And because he used it by quoting, don't kill me if I'm wrong. I think it was, is it TLC? I don't want no scrub.
Yeah, scrub is guy.
Yeah, so and he wrote that. He said that part, like that whole line. You know, scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me.
Don't y'all feel like instead of getting to the root of the issue between, especially in our community, let's exit out everything else of men and women, because usually he's talking to a black girl, right?
Sometimes, yeah. Usually, sometimes it's usually
the majority of the time it's a black girl,
right?
Correct. Yeah. Now, like Gene said, not to be like that. We see his old pictures circulate from when he was in college and stuff like that. He is a little hurt, probably. You know what I'm saying? But you can't ignore the truth beyond what he's saying. You can't ignore the truth.
That's all I'm saying, because
what we have to talk about is what place is that coming from, and at what point are you a part of the problem when we should be respecting one another, right? And I think that's what Dr. Umar says. More so, like it comes off as, you know, we know some of the problems that the women in our community have, right? We know that we've all experienced it in our past relationships. Hell, probably experiencing, and I'm just saying in general, whether it's a relationship or whatever it is. But I mean, to me, he be speaking like from a place of perfection sometimes, like he don't shit or something. You understand what I'm saying? Like
I think he's just Twan. I think he's just being the person that, like, let's be honest. Let's think about it, right? With us going to Alabama State, right? I'm pretty sure we've all either had some conversations or overheard some conversations, or even maybe not even people at Alabama State, just maybe women that we know, and we probably heard or had conversations, and they're like, well, I want a man that does da-da-da-da-da-da, and they maybe won't accept a man that has a different type of job but makes X amount of money or whatever. Like, women are very vocal about what they want, what they're looking for, and things of that nature. And I think he's just being the person that's like, if women can be vocal about what they want, how they want to be treated, XYZ, and say it the way that they may want to say it, why can't men do the same thing? What's wrong with? But no. What they said, but they Myth. Think this, Myth. We're vocal to an extent. Okay, Kevin Samuels literally asked the girl her height and weight and told her she was bigger than Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders and can hit the A gap like a motherfucker. Are we going? But I mean, it is. But I mean, but this is what I was telling you earlier. Kevin Samuels has truth, and he has comedy, and then he has comedic truth. Like, literally, 5 whatever she said, 5'4", 2 whatever she said. If she's bigger than Emmitt Smith, let's be realistic and sit here and say, before you meet a woman, because some women can have a baby and pick up weight, right? Let's say you meet a woman that's what Kevin Samuels described. Let's be honest here. Is that going to attract us? 5'4", 2 something. Is that attractive in our eyes? Let's be realistic here.
Let me jump in the double dash real quick. What Kevin Samuels does is because he's unbiased, believe it or not. We highlighting women.
Doge.
He's talk to dudes. He's highlighting
this
credibility, bro.
Like, true.
What he's saying is we've all been around bigger women or not so good looking or not having things going on women that have this long list of a perfect demigod man that glows in the sun that's going to come from the heavens. And what he's saying, the way he goes about it, I don't see why he do it that way, but what better way than the truth, I guess. But I think he's giving them that truth, like, stop lying to yourself. Your life can be a lot better off if you let stuff like that go. Because a lot of people ain't going to tell you that.
All right, look, bro, at what point is it negative? Because I've seen an interview, because the truth hurts at times, right? Yeah. It does, but it's needed. But at what point is you saying that, what's your curriculum, or what type of fucking paperwork or whatever it is that you have? I can't even get out what I'm. He's
a professional image consultant.
I get it, but you calling people unattractive, or you're not this, you're not that, right?
Yeah, what?
To me,
image consultant.
Image consultant.
Listen, whether the woman was
stylist, bro.
No, but I'm saying, well, unless it's further than that now.
Hold on, let's one talk.
But look,
no, go ahead.
Obviously, look, bro. Regardless of if the woman isn't not even mentally stable enough to be talking, one of the things that she's saying that she, that needs a man to provide for her. Who are you to say you're not even attractive? You're not even a sick, like, you know what I'm saying? You're rating women on a scale of 1 to 10 on FaceTime with them or whatever it is that you're doing, and it's degrading.
You do it to dudes too, by the way.
You know me, I'm always trying to pick up my community. You know what I'm saying? No, I get it, and I'm not. I still, and it's not gonna always be nice and pretty rainbows, bro. I understand, like I said, like, there is truth to what he's saying, but I do always feel like there's a way that you can go about it, right?
But think about what you just said, Twan. Think about what you just said, because this is both sides of the picture. This is like 5 minutes ago when I said Kevin Samuels might say some of the shit that we be thinking, and Memphis was like, well, we say it, but you right now, you're like, okay, I always want to uplift the community. So if you see a girl in your eyes that's a 5, you are on the I want to uplift my community. So you not gonna come out and just say, well, shorty, I think you a 5. Whereas Kevin Samuels is just like, I'm gonna tell the truth, even if it's in our community, and it may be the truth to him. It may be the truth to a couple of other people who view her in the same light as well. I don't necessarily think he can speak for all women for all men's opinion when he's rating them. But you know what I'm saying?
It's just respect, right?
She had a baby. I think her son was like 2 or 3 years old, but she was bringing in 6 figures. In my opinion, not the best looking woman in the world, but she wasn't ugly to me. And he basically broke her down. He was like, you got a kid. You making good money, but you don't look that good. Your body's not snatched, so you're not going to get a high value man. You can't, there's no answer there. You're only telling her what she can't have. But to me, what Twan means by uplift is not BSing somebody, not just fluffing it up and being diplomatic. It's like, no, if you actually want to help
that shit corny, bro. That shit.
Gene, what did you do to me? What did you do to me last night?
Hold on. But the other side of that same message delivered in a different way is, well, you're kind of behind the ball. You got a kid, you're making money, but you got to understand that most high value men are already married. And I know that you feel like you deserve a lot, but you already have had a kid out of wedlock. You got to open your eyes to a couple of different options, right? It doesn't have to be, a low class level man. You don't have to cheat yourself like that, but you also can't be too uppity to let things walk past you, because there may be things you're praying for and God's sending it past your way and you're rejecting God because they don't fit the mold that you think you deserve. So there's different ways to go about it.
So real quick. So what you just said, right? How it's different ways to go about what's being said. That's one thing that he mentioned was he thinks women feel the way that they feel about what he says because of his delivery, right? So, and I'm going to give you one more example because I know Memphis got to chime in on this, but you just said, let's say there's a woman that already had a baby out of wedlock, right? So I watched another interview where he was talking to this one lady, and I didn't see the initial part of the conversation that led up to this, but when I clicked it on TikTok, she was just like, well, I'm stingy with it. And of course, you know what I'm saying? We know what she was talking about. So he basically was like, this is what I don't understand with you women, because you're being stingy with it, but aren't you have you ever been a wife or a baby's mom? And she said, well, I'm a baby mom. And so he basically was like, in a more, I don't want to say like violent, but in a more violent way than what you just said, he basically was just like, well, you already gave up your womb and now you want to be stingy with it. And she was like, so am I just supposed to give it away? And he was like, you goddamn right you're supposed to give it away. You a used car that want 2021 privileges. And it's just like his delivery on that, people would be like, all right, his delivery is bad. And he probably could have flipped it and said it the way, you know, that you said it.
Because he's speaking from a place of, like Gene said, he thinks it's, you know, it's hurt or some sort of ignorance. You know what I'm saying, bro? I'm not saying wrap up the truth and put a bow on it to make somebody feel good. Sometimes you do have to hurt people's feelings, but you can do it in a way to motivate them or get them to understand. Or like Gene said, listen from a different ear. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like the way that he speaks is not always uplifting. And you can tell somebody the truth the hard way by being hard on them and it still being uplifting, meaning that they can still get butterflies and feel it in their stomach. Like, he might be right. I am bullshitting. I am looking at this from the wrong perspective. But at what point is he not a part of the problem is what I'm saying. Why do our women think this way? Listen, why do our women think this way though, right? Like Memphis said, we think the same way in a different type of way, right?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. We gotta stop.
Men
bro.
have standards.
We gotta
stop that, bro.
We gotta stop acting like we so uplifting, bro. We gotta stop that. Like Black people, bro, we gotta stop acting like we so for each other. We so uplifting and we love each other, this and that. Bro, if you from the South, we roast each other for fun. We check each other, whatever you want to call it. We do that. Right. That's a part of our culture, bro. So it's like with niggas like we gonna say like, oh, just like us going to HBCU or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You engaged, he's married, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, right. You got a girlfriend, whatever the case may be, y'all engaged, whatever. When niggas was in school or whatever like that, bro, niggas was going after the girls that look the baddest, the ones that got the baddest body, the ones that like you telling your partners, hey, damn, she bad as hell, like, you know what I'm saying? I want her, whatever. Or you approach a girl, niggas is not approaching a girl like, hey, what's your mentally, where are you at as a woman? We like niggas is coming in like, hey, I just want to tell you, hey, you fine as a motherfucker. Like niggas is keeping it real. Like that's how we coming at our women. So all this quote unquote BS about niggas, oh, we uplifting to women and we uplift them and we coming to women that's like on some proper stuff. We grow into that mold as years go on and we mature. But when we're younger, we not on that. So it's like, we got to stop acting like it doesn't happen on both ends. Niggas got to stop acting like, oh, they like niggas want their cake and eat it too. Like we got to stop being that way. Like niggas don't like mentally. It's a proven fact. Yes, women mature mentally quicker than men. Growing up, we don't be having the morals, but we don't be all the way there. We do dumb stuff, and our approach is completely different. So I feel like now, not saying bro approach towards the conversation he has isn't valid or what he's saying is not credible, but now he's become such a personality to where people look for him to have that personality and to have that snapping nature. He does it. It's for a clout. So he's going to keep snapping on women. He's going to keep like coming off as a cold person or whatever, because he sees that it's working and it's generating an audience.
But that's what I was finna say too. I think a lot of that is comedic though. That's what I told Gene too. Like I think some of it, because he does have some interviews where he's not as cutthroat. He does have some interviews where he gets his point across in a more aggressive manner, and it's really coming off as valuable advice or whatever. But I feel like sometimes he has to go overboard for the sake of like, now he's building a platform. You know what I'm saying? I know he just did a No Jumper interview like 3-4 months ago, and I know in the interview, because I watched a little bit of it before we started the pod, he said that he was at the time of the interview, he was at like 350K subs on YouTube. Right now, he's at like 870,000, I'm guessing. So, and we know, you know what I'm saying? We know how YouTube works.
This is what like man said about his show. I'm gonna cut y'all off, man. Bobby, if you want to get married, what you do, and you got marriage questions, are you gonna ask a single man or a married man?
A married person, for sure.
Myth, if you get in a serious relationship, but your homie been single, and he's still out here running and ripping, you know what I mean? Got a different lady every night. Bro. Are you gonna ask him for advice?
Man, hell no.
So I'm gonna tell you first. Understand how this show works. Like, no knock on Kevin, earn your bread, but these women, I'm like, y'all are calling in to get advice from a man that ain't married.
For the cloud, bro.
But this is the thing. I think no. I think this is why they call them in though, Gene. Because think about it. The women that's calling in, right? The women that's calling in are mostly single women looking for a single man. And majority of the time, like he says, a lot of the women that call in are looking for high value men. Kevin Samuels, I don't know his pockets. I don't count his pockets. I don't know. But from the picture that's being painted, right? You would assume that Kevin could be classified as a high value man. So you have single ladies coming onto his show talking to a high value man about ways to land a high value man. So it's not like they're coming on the show and maybe they speak about marriage or whatever the case may be, but it's not like they're coming onto a show talking to a married high value man. They're talking to something that they may be looking for.
We got gray hair. You assume he's got some wisdom, which I'm sure he does. Mm-hmm. But if he ain't married in old age, what value he got to give? Like, yeah, he's a single man and they looking to him to see what is attractive, but he clearly don't know the value of a woman.
But this is the only thing I can say to that, Gene, because I don't know. So I don't want to be quoted on record speaking of something that I don't necessarily know. But from his standpoint of the question we asked earlier, why would a high value man get married? I don't know where and when he became a high value man and if he was married before or after that happened. So maybe he's in the mindset of what he's like, why would a high value man get married? Maybe he's a high value man and he doesn't see no reason for him being a high value man to be married. So we don't know the full 100% ins and outs of it. So it's kind of, some of it's kind of hard.
Can we throw away that word high value? Can we throw that?
I mean, I'm only using high value because that's what he used.
Can we just say a man with money? That's it. Like you say a man with money.
You made some good points, bro, because I wanted to get back to exactly what you said, because our community, bro, like you said, that's who we are. We roast, you know what I'm saying? We talk about each other. We have fun. That is who we are. I don't think that's something that should leave our community. So when I speak about uplifting and things like that, come on, bro, we do that to each other. What I mean is getting to the root, right? So when he's degrading these women, in my opinion, I feel like, why not try to understand where this stems from? Why are our women thinking this way? Why are our men thinking this way?
He hurt.
Right? But listen though, when you can go back in time to think, like, why we're even in this mindset of how we think about each other, or one another rather. It starts at home, man. Like, regardless, at the end of the day, like, man, our kids, when they leave our house, they have to make the decision, like I said before, to instill the things that you put inside of them. I mean, that you teach them. But at the same time, they're going to be kids. We all experienced it. We all, like you said, we were at school and we was trying to talk to the pretty women. We was trying to talk to these girls because that's where we were mentally, even if we were on our own separate journeys, regardless of what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? We still were men. But at the same time, certain things start in your house, bro. So if I'm teaching my son to value a woman because of this, that, and all of the good things, and not because of what we think that we should be valuing them for, the things that Kevin Samuel was talking about, then that's where the respect start, in my opinion. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we only thinking that way because we didn't have somebody in our ear giving us game to be like, we calling this woman.
So how do you feel about this, though?
This, that, and the third. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, go ahead.
How you feel about this? And this will be the last point or the last topic about this situation that I bring up. So I saw one. He was on TikTok with a young lady. She was 25, and I think I sent it to Gene maybe, or my brother, somebody. But she was 25 and she had a 2 or 3-year-old, right? The guy she was with was 33. He has two teenage kids, and he owns a t-shirt company. She just graduated college for, I think, her first degree in like medicine or something like that, and was finna go back to college to be a registered nurse, right?
Well, so she got her LPN. She was on her way to get her RN.
Okay, that. So he asked her basically, what does the guy do? And she said he owned a t-shirt company. And that was his only, job, source of income or whatever. So his first initial reaction was like, are you sure you could, see yourself with a guy like that? Because his response was, unless he's technically owning Hanes, you know what I'm saying, down the line, how profitable or whatever could that, necessarily be? And when he asked her that question, she kind of was like,
man, bro.
Not really. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he plays both sides of the fence. I've seen him play both sides of the fence. I just think like Memphis be saying is sometimes his delivery could be bad, but at the same time, we can't really. To me personally, I think we can set aside some of the stuff he say.
Did you see that whole episode?
I didn't see the whole. I only saw like the first, like it was like a parted, like separated parts. But it's just people. I think that I don't know if that was an Instagram live or that was his actual one of his podcasts that he was shooting for YouTube. But I don't know exactly why she called in.
She got man. Why is she calling in? I don't even understand.
Truthful, bro, but he corny. I'm sorry.
I mean, for sure,
truthful, but he corny, bro. And Curry had 49 after 3 quarters today, just now.
And Floyd Mayweather gonna beat Logan Paul.
Yeah, let me get to that in a second. But man, how value men is not just money, bro. It's
not just money. But he explained what high value man was, and it wasn't just money.
Okay, well, high value, high smile. You, hey man, fuck this nigga, man. I don't want to keep talking about Kevin Samuels, Samuel Jackson. Look, man. Much power to the brother. Respect to the brother. Get your bag, bro. I don't care what you say. Long as my lady or whoever I choose to deal with, long as she ain't calling into your show, none of my brothers, girls calling. Nobody else. Look, that part. Do your thing, bro.
So speaking of bag, listen. This Canelo fight just ended. We're recording on Saturday night. For you listening in. Canelo just TKO Billy Joe Saunders, and I'm a boxing fiend. Like I love it. All my guys know I be on it. We got Floyd and this Jake Paul and Logan Paul stuff going on, and bruh, it's so bad for the actual sport, like the quality, but it's bringing in so many people who don't know anything about boxing, which is ultimately going to get these guys paid. But this Jake Paul stuff, like he literally in an interview was on some Lil Pump type stuff when he was trolling J. Cole. Like he's like, that negative energy sells. Like that's what get him paid. He's like, that's not really even who I am. I just paint this picture because people literally, I get paid because people want to see me lose. I get paid because people want to see me get knocked out.
I thought he was fighting Logan.
You created that energy. And Boxer to Boxer, Evander Holyfield,
he is fighting Logan.
Talking with Mike Tyson on the hot boxing with Mike Tyson about, bro, his mama told him the way you go up is the way you come down. Them same people you saw on your way up, you're gonna see on your way down. So you better treat them right. You better do right by people. And like we've seen a lot of people enter every arena, rap, all that, with that energy. And when they go outside, it's like they disappear, bro. But I ain't even gotta go to all that. I just think that what we saw, that scramble and the I got your hat, it's almost funny.
He's not even fighting him though. He fighting.
Yeah, he's not fighting him.
So it's like
he fighting his brother, and he said he gonna fight him next. But I don't
paydays.
Just trying to get that.
It's paydays, bro. It's paydays, bro.
Listen, I don't think it was necessarily scripted, but I know that they came to that event knowing that they was gonna sell.
Of course.
Like Florida Money Man, at the end of the day, he a businessman.
Come on,
he
man.
Might have had certain real emotions in that moment. it wasn't necessarily scripted, but I think they both came.
That's just like when Floyd fought Conor, bro. You think Floyd really gonna let a grown man rub his head, bro? Come on, man. Come on, man. He really walked past him and gave him a little hair rub on top of that cranium like that. You really think he's gonna let that happen, bro? Come on, bro.
Man.
But I know Biff was the first to call it fake, bro. What you think, bro?
Hey man, it's Saturday. I think it's Saturday, and I'm ready to go stomping in my Air Force Ones.